Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Garcia versus Lopez top-ranked conference call. Your host, Mr. Fred Sternberg, will now begin.
Thank you so much. Welcome, everybody. We've got two very hot fighters in an even hotter division getting ready to take each other on in a world championship fight. That'll be 9 days away from today, Saturday, June 15th, at the American Airlines Center in Dallas. HBO will be televising that live at 10:45 p.m. PT as its main event for HBO Boxing After Dark. The telecast will open with a terrific 10-round lightweight battle between Terrence Crawford, who we saw on HBO recently, against Alejandro Sanabria Jr. for the vacant NABO lightweight title fight. So without any further ado, let me throw this over to Hall of Fame promoter Bob Arum to tell you about what's coming up and the excitement of this card. Bob?
Yeah, thank you very much, Fred. We're delighted to bring to Dallas a card as outstanding as this card. A great featherweight championship match. Two very popular fighters, the champion Mikey Garcia from Oxnard, California, and the pride of Puerto Rico, JUAN Lopez, former champion. This should be an outstanding fight. The lead-in fight between Crawford and Sanabria should be very interesting. And to tell you what HBO thinks about this show, the fights will be preceded on HBO by a showing of Batman film The Dark Knight, where they expect a huge audience. So we expect a great audience for this Boxing After Dark show. And we're very pleased to be in Dallas. Mark Cuban is a great boxing fan, and he's welcomed us to the American Airlines Center. Tickets are going extremely well. We have, in addition to the two televised fights, Vanes Medrosian fighting Ryan Davis, undefeated Matt Korobov, the Russian middleweight, 19-0, fights Asi Duran. Michael Zuski from Quebec, Canada, is on the card fighting Damian Frias. And there's a special attraction, a 6-round fight. Mexican Olympian Oscar Valdez, 5-0 with 4 knockouts, from Nogales, Mexico, fights Gil Garcia of Houston. So it's going to be a terrific card, a great night boxing in Dallas, and we are very pleased to promote this outstanding matchup between Mikey Garcia and Juan Manuel Lopez. So, Fred, take it away.
Thanks, Bob. On the call with us today, of course, we have both fighters. Mikey calling in from his training camp in Oxnard, California, as well as Juanma, who is in Puerto Rico. Juanma is joined by Peter Rivera and Orlando Pinera with him, and Mikey has his manager, Cameron Duncan, as well as his brother and co-trainer, Robert Garcia. So before we open it up to the floor here with the media, Mikey, I guess we're all wondering, it seems like every fight we talk about with you is always your toughest test, and here we are again in your first title defense. How is camp going, and how are you feeling about this fight coming up?
Thanks, Ray. Well, we definitely have had a very good camp. We worked very hard with my brother Robert and my dad. We worked with Daryl Hudson for strength and speed. I think we're doing an excellent job, and we're just finishing up preparations, last week here, and I'm very excited to be, back and be in the ring again and show the world another side of Mikey Garcia.
Thank you, Mikey. And Juanma, how is training going in Puerto Rico, and what do you expect to see when you face Mikey Garcia?
¿Cómo fue el campo de entrenamiento? ¿Cómo está yéndote? ¿Y qué esperas de la pelea contra Mikey Garcia?
Un buen campo de entrenamiento, muy muy dedicado a la cuestión física y no esperamos una gran pelea de parte de MIKEY García. Como de mi parte, ha sido un gran espectáculo para el público.
No, we had a great training camp. We're working real hard on the conditioning. We know we're going to have to be at our top, conditioning-wise, and I'm looking forward to fighting MIKEY Garcia, who's a real good boxer.
Terrific. Dawn, I think we're ready to open the floor up to questions if you want to give them the instructions, please.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. If you'd like to ask a question, please press the number 1 key on your phone. Again, if you'd like to ask a question, please press the number 1 key on your phone.
While we're waiting for the questions, I just want to remind everybody in Dallas there will be an open workout open to the fans on Tuesday outside the American Airlines Center at AT&T Plaza. Juan Ma will start at 2 o'clock, followed by Mikey at 2:30. And again, that is open to the public.
Hey, my first question, Ricardo, if you could ask Juan Ma, you know, he had almost a year off because of what happened with the suspension after the second Salido fight. I'm wondering, you ask him how he feels after he had the 2 tune-up fights, but not very competitive kind of fights. Does he still feel like he might be a little rusty, or do you feel like that those tune-up fights that he had helped him prepare for this kind of fight?
Tuviste un tiempo descansando, no peleaste, has hecho 2 peleas recientemente. ¿Cómo te sientes? ¿Te han ayudado esas peleas? ¿Cómo crees que te va a ayudar para estar a una pelea de este nivel?
Me ha ayudado mucho una pelea de preparación donde me ha ayudado a volver a condicionar mi cuerpo físicamente, volver a hacerme ritmo y crecer. Así que es una pelea muy importante para mí.
You know, I think those were very important because, you know, after the long layoff, I was able to get in the gym, work hard, get on my diet, get a rhythm of training and get a rhythm of fighting. And I think it's helped me tremendously. I think I'm more than ready to take on this fight.
Okay, Ricardo, with that said, could you ask him, does he feel like that after the tough fight with Salido, that even though I know it wasn't his idea to, you know, be sat down like he was with the suspension, in retrospect, does he feel like maybe the time off may have done him a little good? Refreshing him and that sort of thing?
Aunque no fue algo que te hubiera gustado que te suspendieran, pero en realidad te ayudó estar fuera del ring, descansar un tiempo para que renovaras tu cuerpo y te sintieras mejor.
Sí, definitivamente que sí. Yo nunca había tomado un descanso en mi carrera, así que no me vino mal. No era lo que hubiese querido, pero me vino muy bien para recuperar mi cuerpo y recuperarme mentalmente y físicamente.
You know, without a doubt, you know, ever since I started professional boxing, it was been one fight after the other, some tough fights in there, and I never took any time off. So yeah, it was good. It was good, even though it wasn't the way I would have wanted it. But actually, you know, there's a silver lining in everything. So you know, it was good for me, for my body, for me mentally to be off, and then, you know, not to come back. I think I'm more than ready. I feel good.
Okay, and the other thing I wanted to ask Juanma is there will be those that will look at the record and say he got stopped in 2 fights against Salido, but Mikey Garcia beat Salido very easily in January when he won that title. And does he think that means anything in terms of the way that he matches up with Mikey?
¿Tú crees que hay un significado en que tú hayas perdido 2 veces con Salido de la manera que perdiste y que Mikey le haya ganado a Salido? ¿Tú ves un significativo en esas peleas y que tienen algo que ver con esta pelea?
Realmente que no, son 2 estilos de pelea completamente diferentes. No hay que comparar nada de lo que sucedió en la pelea de Salido con lo que ha sucedido de la pelea con Mikey. 2 peleadores completamente diferentes. Mikey peleó con un Salido que venía de una pelea muy fuerte. Digo, realmente que la pura verdad. Salido, a mi entender, estaba golpeado, no es como yo que supone que descansó 1 año. Pero nada, pero él dominó muy bien, ganó, hizo una gran pelea, lo felicito, pero la noche del día 15 uno va a ser algo diferente.
I think, you know, it's a question of styles. I think our styles with Salido, you know, we love to go at it, go in a war. Mikey's more of a counter-puncher, you know, he stayed away, he did a great fight. I congratulate him for that win. But I think with different fighters, different styles, and not because what happened in one fight is going to happen in the next fight. I think I feel good about it. I think he beat a Salido that was pretty beat up when he faced him. I faced him, I think, Salido a little more fresher when I got him.
Okay, thank you, Ricardo. And Mikey, I'd like you to talk about that for a minute from the other point of view. Because your opponent, Juanma Lopez, got stopped 2 times by Salido, and you had, you know, a relatively easy fight with him. I think dropped him a total of 4 times and were totally dominant on the scorecards before you had your nose broken at the end of the fight. Do you think that in any way makes this an easier fight for you because of that situation, or do you agree with what Juanma said, that maybe it's the styles and it's a tougher fight?
I also agree with Juanma based on styles. You know, the styles are different, and I fight differently than Salido does, and I'm preparing myself differently now because I'm facing Juanma. So it's going to be a different fight. You can't jump to conclusions, you know, just yet. We'll just wait to see what the fight dictates and how it unfolds every round. But I don't have, you know, thoughts that because I beat Salido the way I beat him, that I should, you know, walk through Lopez, just because of that. It's a different fight, different opponent. Got to prepare differently.
Did you watch those fights by chance?
I've only seen them when I was there live, and I've seen, you know, a few rounds here and there. But that's just, you know, it's not a fight that I can pick up so much, you know, from. I've seen a few clips, a few rounds, and here and there, and that's about it.
¿Qué te hace pensar que podrías estar cargando con la victoria el 15 de junio ante un boxeador que va subiendo en estos momentos en el boxeo?
Es fácil. El estilo es algo que tiene que ver mucho en esta pelea. Yo con los peleadores como Mikey García son peleadores más técnicos, menos desorganizados, pero luzco mucho mejor. Por ejemplo, Rafael Márquez, Silvano, que era un peleador de su misma cuadra. Son peleadores que no se me complican tanto como los estilos de salida, así que yo no tengo duda de que tenemos todas las posibilidades de ganar y sobre todo el entrenamiento que se está haciendo, que se está haciendo muy bien.
Déjame traducirlo, Carlos. The question was, do you think, what makes you think that you can defeat a guy that's coming up, everybody's talking about as the best 126 right now? What makes you think that you can defeat him? I think it's just a question of styles. I think he has a style that's a little more, a little more less complicated than the one with Salido and some of the guys I faced. I think he's a very technical fighter, and it doesn't make that difficult a fight. His style is very defined, very good technician.
Juanma, mencionaste que el Salido que enfrentó Mikey el pasado mes de enero en Nueva York no era el mismo Salido que tú enfrentaste en dos ocasiones. ¿Por qué dijiste eso?
Las peleas que salí son unas peleas muy fuertes. La primera, luego de mí hice una pelea con Yamaguchi, una pelea bien fuerte también, y luego hice una pelea, entonces hace una pelea conmigo, una pelea muy fuerte. Un Salido que venía muy maltrecho, un Salido que no venía con la misma consistencia que fue conmigo. Tal vez sea mal decirlo yo de mi parte, pero es la pura verdad.
You said that the Orlando Salido, the Mikey fought, was not as good as the one you fought. Why do you say that? Because I say that because after he fought me, in the fights he had afterwards, he had a lot of trouble. He was knocked down by Yamaguchi, the Japanese, a couple of times. So, there's his styles, and I think he was beat up by me, and maybe it's wrong of saying that, but I know that he wasn't as fresh when he fought Mikey as he did when he was fighting me.
Dos cosas, Juanma. El peso, ¿cuán difícil ha sido hacer las 126 libras? ¿En qué peso te encuentras en estos momentos? Y ¿cómo mentalmente te has trabajado, te has enfocado para esta pelea tan importante que marcaría el futuro de tu carrera?
El peso está muy bien, el peso estamos a ley de 6, 7 libras solamente en estos momentos. Hay que marcar 132, que no va a tener problema marcarlo. Y con eso no hay problema, hemos trabajado fuertemente para eso, pero es un riesgo que nos estamos corriendo porque sabemos que tenemos la posibilidad de ganarle, es una gran pelea. Y por eso no hay problema, estamos muy enfocados en eso.
How do you feel about this fight, about making the weight? I know you had some problems. Do you feel where you're at right now, that you're good? How much do you weigh right now? The weight, I'm always going to have a difficult time making this weight. 126 is always going to be difficult for me. It's always going to be a risk for me, recuperating from that. So, we just have to do the best we can. Very important fight, one that I had to take at this point in my career because I know how important and where it can get me back to where I want to be.
This other question is for Mikey Garcia. Mikey, I'm going to ask you the question in Spanish. Mikey, tú entiendes que realmente no te enfrentaste a un Orlando Salido, al mismo Orlando Salido que Juanma López se enfrentó en aquellas 2 veces.
Pues Orlando Salido ya había peleado con quizás lo mejor que había dado la división en los últimos 6 años, así que él ya había tenido bastantes peleas y bastantes guerras antes de enfrentar a López, y la gente lo conoce más por las victorias sobre López, pero él desde antes ya había tenido bastantes peleas, y para mí fue una pelea que yo pude demostrar todo lo que yo soy, y pues siempre es un peleador peligroso Orlando con el que sea. Yo no lo dejé trabajar, es por eso que lo hice mirar tan fácil de mi parte, porque yo no lo dejé trabajar. Yo trabajé el pleito, la pelea que a mí me conviene, y no caí en su plan de ataque de Orlando Salido.
The question was, do you believe that Salido wasn't the same fighter that Juanma fought? You know, when Juanma fought him, he was a fighter that had fought a lot of great fighters already, a lot of wars before he even fought Juanma. But, you know, he already had a adult experience at the championship level. So, you know, I still faced what I thought was a really good Orlando Salido. It's just that I didn't let him have his fight. You know, I never let Salido get into his fight. I knew what I needed to do against him, and I think that was just the difference, that I was able to control the fight.
Una última pregunta para Mikey. Mikey, después de este combate, ¿planifica subir a las 130 libras como se ha mencionado o planifica mantenerse en 126? ¿La pelea va a definir esa situación?
Yo pienso que después de esta pelea vamos a hablar bien con mi promotor y manejador para decidir qué opciones hay. Yo me gustaría defender mi campeonato de nuevo, si todo sale bien, quizás en septiembre, octubre, defender otra vez el campeonato, pero si mi empresa y mi equipo de manejamiento piensan que es una opción subir a las 130, quizás lo haré, pero les he pedido que me dejen volver a bajar a las 126 a defender mi campeonato.
The question was, do you think this is your last fight at 126? You're looking to move up after this fight? Contéstalo en inglés, esa pregunta, Mike.
Well, the question, you know, if I want to move up to 130, and I said, you know, I answer, after this fight, we want to talk with my manager and promoter regarding the options available. There has been talks about maybe fighting at 130 in my next fight or two, but I asked them to allow me to come back to 126. I would like to keep defending my title at 126 until I feel comfortable moving up in weight class. Now, if we rush a little bit and do fight at 130, I just ask that they allow me to come back down to 126 and defend my title.
Mikey, this question is for you. Dallas, Texas is a big boxing state, especially when it comes to Mexican-American fighters. They always show up in droves for the Mexican-American fighters. How do you feel fighting in a big scenario like the American Airlines Center, where the majority of the fans are going to be rooting for you?
It's definitely going to be very nice to have the support from the fans. I know I fought in Texas several times in my career, and they always show great support. The region around Dallas, I fought there before, and they've always, showed a lot of support. So it's going to be really nice to have a lot of the fans there and come from different regions in Texas to come and watch a great night of boxing. It's just really nice to be given that opportunity to show the fans what we are as fighters.
Juanma, la pregunta para ti, pues el otro lado de la moneda, luego de ser un boxeador tan popular con la fanaticada, aquí vas a estar visitando el gallinero ajeno. ¿Cómo te sientes en esta situación?
Siento bien, muy tranquilo, muy tranquilo, porque no tengo preocupación ninguna. Yo estoy muy claro. Ya tengo acostumbrado a este escenario, a mí no me crea ningún tipo de preocupación ser el favorito en estos casos.
The question was, what about you fighting? You usually fight in front of your own fans. You always have the backing of the fans. This might be one of the first times in your career that you're gonna face a guy who's gonna have the support of the crowd. It doesn't matter to me. I come to fight. I do enjoy having fans fight, behind me. But I know that in this fight I might not, but that's not important to me.
Sí, hola, saludos. Buenas tardes a todos.
Saludos.
La primera pregunta para Juanma. Juanma, después de tanto tiempo sin pelear, ¿cómo ha sido enfocado el trabajo en el gimnasio? ¿Qué es lo más importante para ti que se ha trabajado en la preparación específica para esta pelea?
Realmente lo que estamos grabando en octubre del año pasado, yo peleé en febrero, peleé en abril, yo vengo de pelear hace poco, así que realmente es cuestión de seguir trabajando la técnica que se ha trabajado y ir trabajando la unión física.
¿Cómo tú esperas que se desarrolle el combate? Tú hablaste de las diferencias de estilo, de cómo había sido la pelea con Salido y que tú anticipas ante Mikey. ¿Cómo tú esperas que él salga y cuál va a ser la clave para ti?
Pasó una pelea fuerte para ambos, pero Mikey un poco más calmado que Salido, menos desorganizado. No calmado en cuestión de que no tira mucho golpe, sino que es menos desorganizado. Mikey tal vez te va a salir, no sé, a poner sus manos en golpe recto, entonces pues yo tengo que tratar de golpear. Pero es algo que realmente la técnica pues lo podemos ver allí cuando suena la campana, pues nosotros podemos hacer muchas cosas aquí en el cuadrilátero vamos a hacer obra, así que así como no quiere revelar sus técnicas, yo te puedo revelar las mías.
The question was about the difference between styles. What does he see the difference in styles between Salido and Garcia? Because Mikey's just a more fighter that does technique-wise what he's supposed to do. Throw the right, throw the left. He doesn't go wild in there. He's a very smart guy. He's not going to throw punches if they're not there. And I think that helps me. I think I can see what he's trying to do, and I think he's a thinking guy in there. That's what he's going to try to do with me. Outthink me, and I think that's why it's going to be different than a guy just coming at you from all angles and throwing punches.
Okay. Gracias, Juanma. Para Mikey, lo mismo, básicamente en términos de tu preparación y tu estrategia, ¿cuál va a ser tu enfoque? ¿Cómo te has preparado para un rival como es Juanma López?
No, pues hemos tenido muy buena preparación. Tenemos ahorita ya 10 semanas de campamento y acerca del plan, yo tengo varios planes para la pelea. Hemos trabajado de diferentes maneras con los compañeros de sparring para estar listo para cualquier desarrollo de la pelea que se desenvuelva, ¿verdad? Entonces, si es necesario que yo ponga más presión porque Juan manda boxeando más bien, más inteligente, pues lo haré. Si ocupamos fajarnos a cambiar golpes para hacer una pelea de ese tipo, pues también lo haré porque estoy listo para eso. Y si necesito boxear a mis laterales porque Juanma está fuerte y lo siento que me puede lastimar, que está muy peligroso, pues entonces trataré de boxear toda la noche. Yo estoy listo para cualquier pleito que sea necesario.
Okay, the question was, Mikey, how do you think of his style, Juanma's style, and how do you plan on fighting him? Contéstalo en inglés lo mismo.
Yeah, so I prepared myself with my brother and my dad, for many scenarios. We got different sparring partners to get ready in case I need to put pressure on Juanma because he decides to move and box a little bit more, and I need to press on the fight. I'll be ready for that. If we need to stand toe to toe and trade punches, I'll be ready for that because I trained for that already. And if I feel that Juanma is strong and dangerous and he could hurt me, and the best thing for me to do would be to move and side-to-side steps and stay on the outside, then I will do that. I'll do whatever it takes to win because I'm prepared for it.
Well, I think we can probably wrap the call here. Why don't we go around the horn one last time? We can have everybody give some final comments. Juanma, if we can get a final comment from you before we let you go to training today.
Un último comentario que tengas, Juanma, sobre la pelea para ya dejarte libre.
Pardon me, we actually...
Es una gran pelea, realmente que sí, que el público va a ser el único ganador, porque yo sé que Mikey viene con mucho deseo de retener lo que tiene y yo voy con mucho deseo a quitarle lo que me pertenece y voy a ir a hacer todo lo posible para ganarle.
I expect a great fight. I think the fans are going to really enjoy it. I know Mikey's coming to defend his title with everything he's got, and I'm coming in there to try to regain it with everything I have. I think here is just going to be a great fight, and the fans are going to really enjoy it.
Mikey, how about you? Any last comments before you head to training today?
Same thing here. We're definitely going to put on a great show, a great performance. I think the fans are going to be very, very happy with the way I'm perform and the way I'm going to fight. I think they're in for another treat. They're going to see another side of what I can do as a fighter. They were able to see more in the Salido fight than they had previously seen, and now they're going to get to see another side of Mikey Garcia also.
All right, before we close it out with Bob, I just want to remind everybody again, and this is all open for the public, on Tuesday at the American Airlines Center in the AT&T Plaza outdoors, that's the south side of the American Airlines Center. Both fighters will be hosting workouts for the public. 2 o'clock it'll be Juanma, followed by Mikey at 2:30. And then on Wednesday at La Grand Plaza Mall in Fort Worth from 5:30 to 7 p.m., both fighters will be meeting with the fans and signing autographs. So that should be a lot of fun. Bob, any last words before we wrap it up?
Fred, this was an excellent press conference, very informative. Tickets are available. Ticketmaster at the arena. The tickets are $200, $100, $60, $40, and $25. We are expecting a very, very nice crowd based on initial ticket sales. We're very pleased with the response. It should be a great night of boxing, and it should be a terrific, terrific main event.
Thank you very much, Bob. Thank you for joining us today. We look forward to seeing you in Dallas and Fort Worth next week for all our different events. And for those of you who cannot make it down there, just a reminder, the fight will be on live at 10:45 p.m. ET and PT on HBO. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see everybody in Dallas next week. Bye.
Bye.